The throne room of Queen Valerya was vast, an architectural marvel that seemed to defy gravity. Towers of crystalline glass spiraled upward, reflecting the pale light of 3 suns outside. The air buzzed faintly with energy, an artificial aura created by quantum fields that stabilized the building in the upper stratosphere of the planet Dara 7. Every inch of the room radiated authority and dominance, the walls carved with scenes of conquest, the floors etched with the sigils of every war her dynasty had won. Yet, nothing in the throne room compared to the presence of Queen Valerya herself. She was a vision of imperious elegance, golden armor etched with alien runes that shimmered with light, a crown of black diamonds balanced on her silver hair. Her eyes, pale as frozen fire, scanned the room as if daring anyone to breathe without permission. When I entered, escorted by 2 silent, drone-like guards, the room seemed to contract. The queen had a reputation that preceded her, a ruler who spared neither friend nor enemy, whose diplomacy was matched only by the brutality of her campaigns. I stepped forward, shoulders straight, heart steady despite the storm of tension thrumming in the hall. I had been summoned here, unexpectedly, after a report of my record reached her ears. 20 campaigns across the outer sectors, 15 victorious battles, 8 defensive maneuvers that saved entire colonies, and 5 secret operations that remained classified even to my own command. Most people would have faltered under the weight of such a record, but I had learned long ago that history favors the bold, not the timid. Queen Valerya's lips curled in a sardonic smile. "Tell me," she said, her voice slicing the air like a laser. "How many wars have you seen?" The room shifted. Courtiers and generals leaned forward, curious. Some whispered, some glanced nervously at each other. I didn't flinch. 28, I replied. A pause fell over the throne room, thick as a vacuum. For the first time in my career, I saw the queen falter ever so slightly, her perfect composure cracking like glass under pressure. The silence was almost audible, like a held breath across a world. Then, the smallest flicker of recognition passed through her eyes. Valerya rose slowly from her throne, her armor glinting, and for a moment, I swore she looked less like a queen and more like a predator, sizing up its prey. 28, she repeated, as if tasting the word on her tongue. And how many lives have you taken in those wars? Too many, I said honestly, though I did not specify. The number was irrelevant to her, just as the number of planets conquered in her name was irrelevant to me. She studied me, and then, astonishingly, she laughed. Not a cruel laugh, but one that carried a mixture of admiration and curiosity. Few have the courage or the recklessness to survive as many campaigns as you. Tell me, soldier, do you fight for honor, for duty, or for something darker that even you do not admit? I didn't answer immediately. Instead, I let my eyes sweep the room, noting the tension in the air, the way her court held itself perfectly still, and how even the guards seemed to anticipate some unspoken signal. Finally, I spoke. I fight because the universe demands it, because if I do not, there are those who will. And if I am lucky, perhaps the fighting leaves something worth protecting in the end. Valerya tilted her head, intrigued. Philosophy from a warrior. Bold. Rare. Dangerous. She waved a hand, summoning a holographic map of the galaxy in the center of the room. The systems we had fought over, some decades old, some recent, glimmered in shifting light. These are the worlds under my command, she said. Every one of them has its own story, its own chaos, and its own need for strength. And you have fought across nearly all of them. Tell me, are you ready for the next war? I looked at the map, then back at her. The question was deceptively simple. The next war was no ordinary battle. It was a campaign that could decide the fate of multiple star systems. Entire civilizations hung in the balance, and the enemy was unlike any we had faced. Sentient AI armies whose strategies evolved faster than our own, infiltrating our colonies with precision and cruelty. To answer, yes, would be to accept not just the next war, but an uncertain future where death and chaos were almost certain. I am ready, I said. Valeria's gaze sharpened. Good. Then you will lead the mission. She gestured toward the map. We have received intelligence of an uprising in the Syphon Expanse. The rebellion is not ordinary. They have weaponized the remnants of a lost civilization's technology. I need you to infiltrate, assess, and neutralize the threat. The details were shocking. The Syphon Expanse was a treacherous region of space, full of collapsing stars, rogue planets, and radiation storms that could fry even the most sophisticated shields. Yet the Queen expected me to navigate it with near-impossible precision. I nodded, hiding the storm of thoughts in my mind. Your fleet awaits in orbit, she continued. But there is one condition, soldier. Failure is not an option. And remember this, if you fail, it will not just be your life at stake. The lives of billions hang on your decisions. I bowed my head. Understood, Your Majesty. The next hours were a blur. I gathered my team, specialists in espionage, combat, and diplomacy, each a legend in their own right. We boarded the flagship Eclipse, a vessel built for speed and stealth, with weaponry that could obliterate entire planetary defenses. The crew was tight-knit, each member a survivor of multiple campaigns, each carrying scars both visible and hidden. As we launched into the void, I reflected on the Queen's words. There was a peculiar respect in her demeanor, a recognition of the cost of survival, of experience, of the courage to endure war after war. I realized then that her sneer in the throne room had been more than arrogance. It had been a challenge, a test to see if my resolve matched my record. The journey to the Syphon Expanse was perilous. Radiation storms forced us to take circuitous routes. Pirate factions tried to ambush us. Our sensors detected anomalies that defied conventional physics. On the third day, we encountered the first of the AI war machines. They emerged from a collapsing star system, cloaked in stealth fields, and attacked without warning. The battle was intense. Lasers lanced through the void, shields flared and collapsed, and the Eclipse rocked under repeated strikes. But 28 wars had taught me to anticipate patterns, to predict moves before they were made, to trust instincts honed in fire and chaos. Our crew fought with synchronization that was almost uncanny, neutralizing the AI threat, boarding the machine to extract critical data on its command network. Each victory, each small tactical success, drew us deeper into the rebellion's web. We discovered that the Syphon Expanse was more than a hideout. It was a fortress built from remnants of a civilization lost millennia ago, one that had harnessed quantum mechanics to manipulate entire planetary systems. The AI we fought were not merely soldiers. They were sentient, learning from each encounter, adapting, evolving. Every victory was temporary, every strategy fleeting. As we approached the heart of the rebellion, I realized that brute force alone would not succeed. We needed a plan, a tactic that combined diplomacy, deception, and precision strikes. I convened my officers in the Eclipse's strategy chamber, a room that projected holograms of the terrain, enemy movements, and energy flows. We devised a plan that was daring, almost reckless, but it was our only chance. The final assault was executed with surgical precision. We infiltrated the central hub of the AI network, engaging in both digital and physical combat. AI sentinels fell one by one, their protocols unraveling under coordinated attacks. I led the strike team personally, feeling the adrenaline and fear mix into a familiar rhythm. Hours passed like minutes until we reached the core, a pulsating quantum nexus that controlled the entire rebellion. I hesitated. One wrong move, and the entire system could collapse, killing billions. But hesitation was a luxury we could not afford. Drawing on every lesson learned from 28 wars, I executed the final command. The Nexus neutralized, the AI forces collapsed, and silence fell over the expanse. For the first time in weeks, we breathed freely. When we returned to Dara 7, the reception was nothing short of ceremonial. Queen Valerya awaited us in the throne room, her expression inscrutable. But this time, when I reported the success, she did not sneer. She nodded, a subtle gesture, yet one loaded with approval. 28 wars, she said softly, almost to herself. And yet you survived them all. Remarkable. I inclined my head. I survived not for glory, Your Majesty, but because someone must. And sometimes because it's the only way to protect what little is worth protecting. Valerya studied me for a long moment, and then a faint, almost imperceptible smile curved her lips. Perhaps, soldier, the universe is kinder to those who understand its cost. Remember this, you have my respect, earned, not given. Few can claim that. As I left the throne room, the enormity of what had transpired settled over me. I had survived 28 wars, faced a rebellion that could have annihilated entire civilizations, and returned victorious. Yet the lesson remained. Survival was only meaningful if it served a purpose beyond personal glory. And for the first time, I realized that Queen Valerya, for all her pride and power, understood this truth as well. The throne room fell silent behind me, the echoes of battles past and victories won lingering in the air. And somewhere deep in the heart of the galaxy, new wars waited. But I was ready. I always would be.